Welcome back to the Crypto Power Hour, of course, powered by Solum Global. With your host, George Balloutine, and myself, Lance Miliaccio. This is your ultimate deep dive into everything crypto, blockchain, and decentralized finance. Whether you're a seasoned investor or just stepping into the world of digital assets, we bring you expert insights, top interviews, exciting new projects, breaking news, and game-changing innovation shaping the future of digital assets. Because on this show, in Crypto We Trust, the #1 crypto show on Rumble, we're excited to say that. Sometimes I might say it more than once on the show. Hopefully you won't be tired of hearing it, because I know we're not tired of hearing it. And I think the reason for that, George, is because of the education and the time we take to make sure that we aren't talking over people's heads. This is a complicated world. George and I are reading books all the time. It takes a lot to stay on top of it. We're looking at social media, news cycles, news stories, and we're looking at both international and domestic press, hoping to find the stories that will have an impact. So maybe you can get just a snapshot into some of these great companies that are out there. It's an opportunity for generational wealth. And I think the education is such a primary piece because so few people completely understand the blockchain network. And that goes for us also. It's a learning process every single day, George.
Oh, it is. You know, listen, the minute you stop learning is the minute you stop growing as a person and human being. So, I mean, nobody knows everything. It's impossible. I don't care who you are. So taking our time to read stuff, to look it up. You know, if you don't understand something, look the definition up. That's what I do. That's how it helps me learn.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes sense to have a dictionary on hand. Of course, you can use any of the AIs. That'll give you an in-depth, education. If you hear us say something about blockchain, or maybe we bring up something to do with, smart contracts or any kind of projects that are related to any of these topics that you hear, take a minute. Don't worry about it. Listen, this is going to take a while. It's a new language for all of us. So I want to just start off like we always do on this show. George has got a great educational piece he put together, and we're going to be covering today defining blockchain goals and picking the right technology. Understanding that there's a lot of different groups on the chain, and I think that's where we really have to kind of define that for you. So, George, take it away, brother.
Well, thanks, Lance. So, we're talking about like defining your blockchain goal, right? And to do this, we have to start at the beginning, Lance. You don't want to skip anything you want to do, always start at the beginning. So, often you see too many teams get lost building blockchain projects without a clear purpose. So don't fall into that. If you need to, ask. There's no stupid questions, but always ask. It's better to ask. And then what is your final business outcome we want? And how will blockchain help us get there? And I'm going to give you a couple examples of like something like a big goal here. You trade digital assets, right, with a partner company securely, instantly, and with no middleman. Get rid of the middleman. Middlemen just cause confusion in payments. Yeah, it'll save you a lot of money. That's ambitious.
And speed.
Right.
A lot of times your payments get delayed, which is just terrible when you're running a business. So you're trying to look for efficiencies, and that's one of the things I love about blockchain. Yeah. It brings that right to the forefront. And that's ambitious and may involve legal, compliance, and technical stakeholders. So what do you want to do? Let's start at a front point, like a smart starting point. You break it down into minimal viable use case. What is that? Like a small, simple version that creates value. What's going to create you value? Right?
Huh?
Yeah. Start small.
Yeah, always start. Listen.
Yeah, baby steps is my opinion when it comes to this world.
Exactly.
Because I made some mistakes in the beginning, and I even suggested a couple of mistakes that George saved me on, to be honest with you. And I think that's the key to it, these baby steps where you get comfortable with using the process. That's important.
Yep. Listen, just think of it like, let's say football, for instance. You got to learn the plays. You can't just go out there and think you're going to know what's going on, who's doing what. It's like a team effort. So, and another example is like you build a private blockchain, right, to exchange payment tokens between a trusted departments or subsidiaries. Now, each small win sets the stage for the next. So you got one win here, and then you go to the next. It's like adding automation, expanding to partners, or introducing tokenized assets. Now, Lance, these different blockchain types, we spoke about this.
Yeah, we covered that on the show,
Yeah.
and so this is where it gets a little tricky because, it's like a network. It's really like a public Wi-Fi versus a non-public Wi-Fi. So you want to talk about public. So if you talk about a public blockchain, the first question you always have to ask is who can use it, right? So anyone can use a public blockchain. And that's best if you're doing open or decentralized systems like a Bitcoin or Ethereum. You want everybody to have access to Bitcoin. You want everybody to have access to Ethereum or XRP because it benefits the project, right? It benefits Ripple. It benefits crypto. If you want to use Bitcoin for a payment or to receive payment, you got to make sure that's open. And then there's also permission, which is a little bit different. It's viewable by the public, but you have to have access to use it. So it's controlled access. So it's kind of a known but not trusted entities like supply chains. So you might want to see what's available. Let's say that you were using this in industry and you wanted to find out how much copper sheeting was available, maybe at like a 5 millimeter thickness copper sheeting. You could see it, but you just couldn't order it without being given permission to access it. So you would type in your account number and you'd say, okay, I need to buy 50 Bitcoin worth of copper. That would be how you could do it through controlled access. You'd have a password and there'd be an approval. And then there's private. And those are invite-only networks, right? Where only selected participants. And those are good for like internal networks because you wouldn't want necessarily your customers or anybody else. So it'd be like you talking to your CFO or your CEO. And these participants, you might be exchanging tokens or permissions to get access to what I would call blockchain encrypted or cryptographic assets. So that's interesting.
Sounds like a lot, right? Everybody, it does sound like a lot, but look, public blockchain, open to anyone. Anyone can read, write, or validate transactions. Permission blockchain, open to see, but only approved parties can act. And then the private blockchain is restricted to specific users. It's fast, it's efficient, but less decentralized. So you're talking now, what's the value of less decentralized versus centralized? So yeah.
You're always wondering, right? When you hear the word blockchain, you're thinking, okay, how do I add, how does that add substance to my life? How does that help my business? How does that help me personally? And that's a big question. I mean, and each business is going to have their own answer. Not everybody is going to say, oh, I need it right now. I can see a lot of uses for this. When should we use a blockchain instead of a traditional database? And I think people use blockchains, when you don't fully trust the other party. That's one way, of course, because it'll guarantee who you're dealing with, because of course that's how it's confirmed. Your data needs to be auditable or immutable, because you want to have it be in a situation where your data is open for transparency. And that's one of the beauties of blockchain, the transparency to know, number one, who you're dealing with, and number two, do they really have the assets and are they really who they say they are? And there's, of course, you want to lose blockchain whenever there's risk of any kind of manipulation. So if you think there's a manipulation in the transparency or the numbers, this becomes immutable. So you can use it for internal or external, especially auditing. But you don't want to use blockchain and complicate things if a normal database works just fine, because it's going to be more expensive and more complex. And in the beginning, of course, we're at the early stages, so it does take more programming and coding, and it takes expertise. So you want to think of blockchain as a shared, kind of a tamper-proof database, that works best when maybe multiple parties need to share and verify data without really full trust. And I think this is why industries like finance, supply chain, we've talked about the benefits to healthcare. Solum.global, the company that sponsors this show, they're deep into the blockchain healthcare industry. They've got a new innovative AI technology. Also, we've talked about mortgage titles. Another business that could use blockchain, makes a lot of sense. And governments, because of course they've got a lot of secure internal eyes only kind of documentation. So blockchain could have different tiered levels of access, top secret, classified, clearances, the rest of it. So I think all these groups are actively testing or deploying blockchain or creating what they think they need, George.
They do. Lance, as we go forward and technology becomes more advanced, I mean, blockchain is just going to be the future for everything.
Yeah, I agree.
It's just going to be the wave of the future.
Hopefully in the elections, George. Hopefully in the elections.
I don't want to go there right now, Lance.
Yeah.
We talked about that last episode with the guys about elections. Yeah, I mean, listen, God forbid we have safe, secure elections with using the blockchain. Oh, my God.
Oh my
Who
God.
would want that?
Why would we want the safest and securest elections in history? Even though they're telling you they have that now, they don't.
I know
This
who'd
would
want
pretty
that.
much wrap it up.
Corrupt politicians wouldn't want that. You know what I mean?
That's a good point, George. Any specific corrupt politicians?
Yeah, mostly all of them.
Adam Schiff comes to mind. Shifty Schiff.
Yep, Mitch McConnell. Let me see. There's a bunch. Pelosi.
Yeah,
I mean, there's so
Pelosi.
many.
Governor Newsom.
Yeah, he's another one, California.
Yeah.
But listen, we have common use cases by blockchain type, right? I have a table. I'm going to just go over. So use case, what's the best blockchain type, right? The more value between strangers, that is public. That's meaning like when we go peer to peer, or some of you don't know, but it's you have a public entity right there. You're sending money. You don't have to go through all the hassles of Western Union or whatever they are, PayPal. You don't have the high fees. It's going to be perfect, especially doing stuff overseas. You have exchange value between trusted parties. It's private. Trade different asset types. That's permissioned. Now you put public records, examples of like land titles, right? You do buy houses. And
I like permission for that. I think permission makes the most sense because that way you know you're ultra secure.
But just look at like getting rid of all the middleman and stuff when you get records, right? Doing titles.
Yeah.
You don't have all that stuff. You get rid of it. It's like you have speed, time, and less money because you don't got to pay all those other people, the middleman, to do it.
Sure.
I mean, automate contracts, smart contracts. You got public or permission. So you can go.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you like? I would say smart contracts, permission.
I think you need both because there's different levels, but I think you actually need both the public and permission because, of course, in some of those cases, these are assets that are sensitive nature, so big value. So I think it's definitely both. It's kind of like when you're talking about securitized assets, trading those. That makes sense to have both public and permission. So I think it's got a lot to do with dollar amount and maybe the parties. So you're going to get some overlap. Some of this is going to cross, right? When you start building identity systems, those are public. But having some of the secured part of the identity systems and how they were confirmed, I could see that being partially private to begin with. Internal private records, of course, private and permission both make sense. And you got audit compliance data, public and permission. There's always exceptions, though. Remember that. You can't just think one size fits all here. Some project blend those types. And whenever you take multiple types, that are public or permission, of course, you're calling those hybrid blockchains. And that's exactly what I was saying, George. There's going to be a blend on some of these to get you the best of both worlds.
Ooh, the best of both worlds. So, I mean, all right. We want to talk about the best of both worlds. Let's talk about strength and limitations of the blockchain. Because, everything might have limitations. Right? Let's go public.
I almost heard salt and pepper there. Let's talk about tech.
Yeah, right. I don't want to say what that, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, but it sounded like
Let's
the start of that song,
crypto,
not the whole.
Baby. Yeah.
Let's talk about blockchain.
Nice.
How the crypto and the hybrid come to be.
Oh, God help us.
Yeah, we're gonna.
Right.
We probably lost some listeners and subscribers. Or that we
don't
might have
know.
gone to number 2 right there.
No, definitely not. They're having to have a good time and learning. So, all right, let's go with the public first. What are the pros? It's decentralized, it's secure, and most importantly, it's transparent. I love the part secure and transparent. All three are big. What's the cons? It's a little slower, it's more expensive, but you have limited storage.
Yeah.
I mean, those are things that could probably be worked on. I mean,
well, they're going to have different levels of storage. They'll probably just tell you, "Hey, George, your storage has gone over. You're no longer at the $50 a month. You got to give us $100." But Isn't that what they do to you over on Google?
Yeah, but I think over time, when it says it's expensive and we advance more technology, I think it's going to be the cost will go down. So next is your permissioned. This is controlled access. It's scalable and it's faster. All right. What's the con? It's less decentralized. So what does that mean?
Not as many nodes confirming the data.
Well, less decentralized, it means they have more control. And we want control. This is for we the people. So now, private. It's fast, it's cheap, it's easy to deploy. What's the cons? Low security and not immutable. Now, just the low security to me is a turnoff because you just see so much nefarious people, bad actors trying to get in and do bad things. So, I mean, security should be top level for everything. That's number one, because if you don't have good security, everything can just fall apart and be taken down.
And the immutable is difficult too because you can't really change it. It's really, and that's what immutable is. It's unchanging over time. So you've got to think that it's less flexible.
So, I mean, so we look at it, each has strengths. They all have their pros and cons. But what we're saying is it's up to you to match what is best for your project's priorities. So you have to do the work, be diligent, and come up with the best solution for your project.
Yeah, because there's going to be a lot of uncertainty as you're learning this, right? And you're not sure. So you're going to want to reach out to experts. You know, there's all kinds of complexities. There's risk. There's competing priorities. I think one of the best ways to do it is to use a decision tree. That'll allow you to kind of visualize whatever the challenges or maybe your solutions that you have in mind, or maybe a weighted decision matrix, if you guys know what that is. That'll allow you to rank your priorities and kind of match them to the right blockchain based on priorities. So when you're doing that weighted decision matrix, which seems to be one of the more popular when people are trying to decide which blockchain to use, that's going to help you to really simplify all your complex decisions. What you do is you start by listing, of course, your core needs. That's always important. And like you'll use scale, speed, security, the cost, storage. And then you always want to look at the limiting criteria. That there's always 10. Focus on what truly matters. So try to do the criteria based on what's really a top priority. And if you create a table in Excel or on paper, whatever you're comfortable with, and add that criteria in that first column, that'll help a lot. And then you want to assign weights. I like to use a scale of like 1 to 3 for myself, of what's high and what's low. I use 3 as the high and I use 1 as the low for myself. And then you can add up total scores, and that'll kind of tell you, what the best blockchain is by those mapped results. So if you need high speed and internal trust, it's a private. If you need, let's say, security and transparency, then that would be public. And if you need something in between, then you could go for permissioned or maybe a hybrid version. You might say, well, I really want to have transparency and high security, but I also need high speed and internal trust. You might have a public-private network. It might be some hybrid of that where 70% of it's public, 30% of it's private, And I think all those project planning roadmaps, they're a big deal.
I just want to touch something on the scale, which is you said is great. It's simple, like a 1 to 3. You ever take like surveys or not even surveys where they test you on something? Could be a psychological test, a work, something, and they give you a scale of like 1 to 5. 5 being the highest and 1 being the lowest. And then they add up the points and it shows you like what category. This is what you're doing it, but you're doing it for yourself. So it's a great tool to use. And listen, part of it is doing what? Project planning. Make a roadmap. If you're going on a trip, driving trip, remember before we had anything in the car to tell us to make a turn left, turn right? Nothing. What you have to do, you have to look on maps. You have to take a piece of paper and draw out your directions to make it easier for you, because you can't be driving and while looking at a map flipping it. It's not going to happen. What do? You do your plan beforehand. You write it down. And let's say you have people with you. So in this project, you explain to your key stakeholders, make a plan and watch it, how it evolves. Include your goals.
And it's going to evolve. I want to say that. Sometimes you have to, you hit a roadblock sometimes. You hit a problem on a roadmap, right? You're on a map like George said. Know that your project's going to evolve. You don't want to make it unchangeable. You don't want to make it immutable. You want to make it so you have some flexibility because, of course, as you're learning, things may change. So you're going to want to think about those performance goals and the timeline and cost and risk management and maybe even your staffing. You might be making some decisions and think about, the buy-in, what that's going to cost in defining those roles. And how do we get all those people within the project on your staff to get involved?
That's pretty good, right? I like
Well,
that.
you can hold a meeting. I say always hold a kickoff meeting. Once you get ready with the project, you can cover your project vision, kind of the roadmap that George just described. Then you could talk about each one of the people on your staff, what their role and responsibility is going to be to get your plan into place, to get your blockchain project moving. You want to think about all your milestones and, of course, any kind of key success goals or metrics so that you know that you're meeting the goals. So you kind of want to have some timelines.
Right. And here, these are all great points. These it's just like running a successful business. But so after you do your launch, you have to look at what you're doing. Like, where am I doing good? Where am I not doing good? Where can I improve? So you ask yourself, did you hit your goals? Did you over goal it where you did really well? Or did you really underperform? What worked? What didn't work? What could we do better? What could your team do better? Or you personally do better? And this is a big one. Did you create real value and savings?
Yeah.
Because if you didn't create value or savings, what are you doing?
Yeah, and at the end of the day, using blockchain as a catchphrase, so you can use it in your marketing materials, doesn't mean that you created value. I know everybody's big thing is always using the catchphrases. What are the hot terms? Oh, blockchain. Oh, we're a decentralized finance company that deals with AI and, and a media company. Well, you don't need all that. What you want to define is what's really going to create value or streamline profit. For example, I use Solum.global. You can go look this up. That what they're planning with healthcare costs is to add more efficiencies in the building, cut out the middleman, no more factoring for the doctors where they're getting gouged by the factoring companies, make sure payments are moving rapidly from the insurance companies to the providers, no more waiting 3 months to get paid, and of course, fraud checks. So that's kind of how they're creating value. You want to think about how you create value for your clients.
Right.
This isn't some magic wand. It's a really powerful tool. Start small, stay focused, match your business needs to the right blockchain. And, George, you're the decision tree master. He always does that whenever we're working on stuff for our show.
Yeah, right. I used George, a.k.a. the decision tree, and waited. You got me laughing.
Those matrices really, you've done it before. You
cut
said,
through the confusion.
Here's what I think.
I know.
Yeah.
Then you build, review, and improve. So you build, you look at what you did, and you improve. That's how blockchain delivers real world impact. And just remember, technology is always improving and evolving, and so is the blockchain. It will evolve, and it's going to evolve very fast.
Man, and it's moving quickly. Guys, we struggle. So don't feel like, I don't know what to do. Just keep it simple, start small, and then decide how you're going to bring real world value, whether it's more profitability, whether it's less employees, whether it's outsourcing your employees. You might be able to put efficiencies in line where you could use a combination of maybe AI, or you could partner up with a company. Let's say you're in the healthcare industry and you went with Solum Global. You can partner with a company and then you can implement on your end. How do you streamline your business using this outside company to provide this efficiency model? And there's lots of companies that are doing this. It isn't just Solum. There's tons of them out there.
So I just want to add something to our listeners.
Yeah, please.
So if there's a topic that you would like us to discuss or, do education piece on, you could email either one of us. Lance's email is lm@solum.global. Mine is gb@solum.global. Email us, tell us if there's something you want us to go over more or explain more in an education piece or whatever. We're happy to do it. We're here to help everybody learn and us ourselves learn too. That's what makes this great. And if you can, hit the like button, the thumbs up, the share, the follow, the subscribe. We'd really appreciate it. It helps us out a lot in the show, keeps the algorithms going, keeps you guys, our show, working towards building a bigger network show to educate all. Number one, baby.
Exactly.
Wait.
All I do is win, no matter what.
Oh, I'll never get tired of that song anymore. You should have never gave it to me, Lance. That's your fault. But so, education is the key, right? Because an uneducated person could be disaster for anything in life. Just like if you can't read, you don't know what's going on. If you don't know what crypto is or how the blockchain works, how are you going to be involved in it? How could it benefit you? How could it, if you have a business, how can it make your business grow? Or if you're just an investor or you want to secure your financial wealth, your 401k, your IRA, anything. Crypto, the blockchain is here and it's evolving and it's there for you to use. Because old ways, this is the old saying, out with the old, in with the new. And let's face it, our old systems are not working the way they should, not for we the people. Maybe it works for the big corporations or the bigger governments, but it's not working for us.
Yeah, that's the true. That is some true dat.
True that.
For sure.
Right?
Exactly.
So we're going to keep going with our education. Try to do it every show. It depends if we have guests, but we want to keep educating. It's going to be what? Crypto University. Lance, wait a minute. You gave him homework last time, didn't you?
Yeah, I just told them that they should go home and try to study anything about cryptocurrency and the decentralized finance. I basically said, listen, don't just take the information we had, spend some time studying the information we have, and then go to the internet. You know, you can use Google or Brave or anything else. Do a little extra research because you don't want to just take for what we're saying, for granted. Because I want to tell you something, with as fast as this mooning and as many projects as there are, we're going to try to cover as much as possible. But I can't guarantee you we're going to get everything. And that's what's really crucial. You guys need to do your own homework, and that way they always say that to be an expert in anything, it takes 10,000 hours. I'm not suggesting you have to spend 10,000 hours on crypto. I'm suggesting the more time you put in, the more your expertise is going to be ingrained into you.
The more
so that
value.
you really do recognize the difference. Yeah, because we did a big episode on fraud, and I think you could take that episode on fraud and really study that, because one thing you don't want to do is get involved in projects that you don't understand. And that's why we said, what's the first baby step? The first baby step is learning how to transact stable coins, having a wallet with some stable coins in it, making some payments for things with stable coins. It's one of the less risky ventures, and it gives you the ability to learn, oh, I've got to hold my seed phrase. Oh, I've got to make a transfer. It all becomes very important.
Yeah, it does. And you know what? Just like a baby, you nurture it and grow. It's just like learning the blockchain and crypto. You're going to nurture yourself and grow.
Exactly.
It takes time.
All right, the Crypto Power Hour is going to take a short break, and when we come back, we're going to be talking about Ripple and XRP. A lot of people are saying it's poised to hit $2.90. I think it's $2 and change right now. I'm wondering, what are your charts saying? What do you think? If you're in the chat, let us know. We always want to talk about, of course, we'll be back with George Balloutine and myself, Lance Migliaccio. Crypto Power Hour, baby, #1 crypto show on Rumble. Hit that follow button. Hit that subscribe button. Do the paid subscription. It'll be worth it to you. Hit us up in the chat. We'll be right back.
As an American who keeps up with the real news, you know by now the severity of the economic issues that are plaguing our great nation. My name is Jonathan Rose, and I'm the CEO of Genesis Gold Group, the only major faith-driven company in the industry. 2024 is a year full of uncertainties, with trillions of dollars in national debt, inflation impacting your savings, and a pivotal election year. Your peace of mind is more valuable than ever. Now is the time to use physical gold and silver to preserve your hard-earned retirement savings with a gold IRA. Call Genesis Gold Group today. Our team has decades of experience helping folks just like you take their first step on the path to true financial freedom with a gold and silver IRA.
Call Genesis Gold Group today at 1-800-200-GOLD for a no-commitment, informative consultation with one of our experts to find out if we can be a fit for you. Call now at 1-800-200-4653 or visit genesisgoldgroup.com.
In a world of uncertainty, be prepared with Silver Prepper Bars, your ultimate hedge against political instability and economic turmoil. Introducing the Silver Prepper Bar, crafted from 0.999 pure silver and proudly made in the USA. This tangible, divisible asset can come in handy even in the toughest of times. Portable, perforated, and easily tradable, the Silver Prepper Bar is your lifeline in times of crisis. When facing inflation, currency devaluation, and financial meltdown, Silver Prepper Bars provide peace of mind. Don't wait for disaster to strike. Secure your future today with the exclusive Silver Prepper Bar, the only silver bar on the market divisible into 3 different size pieces for maximum utility, all while fitting in your wallet. The smart choice for savvy investors and preppers alike. With Silver Prepper Bars, you're ready for whatever tomorrow brings. Hi folks, I'm here today to introduce you to the Prepper Bar from PrepperBar.com, the most unique precious metals product we have seen in a long time. These 62-gram bars are perforated and easily broken down into your choice of 3 different sizes to fit a multitude of needs. Whether it be from asset protection from inflation, economic turmoil, or its unique utility for barter and trade, the Prepper Bar makes a perfect gift for all the precious metal lovers out there. Exclusively made here in the USA and selling out fast. Available in both gold and silver, these slim Prepper Bars fit neatly in your wallet, and their utility enables use in any situation. As gold and silver prices continue to surge, and top economists predict upcoming shortages, now is the time to secure your precious metals in the form of Prepper Bars. Go to PrepperBar.com now and place your order before supply runs out and prices go up. All payment methods accepted. Order your silver Prepper Bars now at PrepperBar.com. Silver Prepper Bars, ready for whatever tomorrow brings. Order now.
All right, welcome back to the Crypto Power Hour, where we break down the wild world of money, crypto markets, and everything in between with your host, Lance Migliaccio, George Balloutine, and we're powered by Solana Global. So don't forget to hit
Number one crypto show on Rumble. Did I say that yet?
We said I even played the music. I can play it again if you want.
One more time.
DJ Khaled.
Number one crypto show on Rumble.
All I do is win, 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 no matter what. Got money on my mind, I can never get enough. And every time I step up in the building, everybody.
You know what? We got to get one of them machines that throw the bills out and play.
That's it. The making it rain money guns.
All right. Is Ripple poised to hit 290? What did the chart say? Well, I was saying like in a few weeks it would hit $3. I did say Bitcoin was going to hit 100. So we're getting close. We're getting there. But
Look, the XRP ledger just advanced in Japan. That was kind of being held back by the SEC lawsuit. That opens the door to a $6.37 trillion market. That's with the T. 6.37 trillion.
And you know, Japan, they love their crypto over there.
You know, a bunch of the hardcore crypto analysts, they're assessing the odds of a further bull run. There's still a long track to cover for XRP. Of course, we want to get back to that 90-day peak of $3.18. Monday afternoon, Ripple native crypto's price broke out of that inverse head end you saw. If you guys saw that head and shoulders pattern, that was holding it back. We've kind of broken. We've created some support. And I think from this perspective, a lot of people say 270, 290 seems to be a realistic target. But XRP is going to have to bounce right up that head and shoulder, of course, depicted in that chart. And, the daily closures with 225 demand a zone where a lot of consolidation needs to occur. But we are seeing institutional buying. We are seeing a lot of wallets and whale wallets are coming back for XRP. They're looping back into the game. So I think I'm optimistic on this, George.
Listen, so am I. And I'm going to stay optimistic because XRP is going to be the front line and it's going to take over. That's just my opinion.
Swift. Did I say Swift? Did I say that out loud?
Listen, with Swift testing XRP for integration, Ripple's XRP Ledger Network also got the nod from U.S. government for inclusion in the Strategic Crypto Reserve.
Swift.
That's a popular cross-border altcoin has progressed much further in Japan where, actually, look at this, a local crypto whale bought 1.94 million XRP coins at an estimated worth of 4.4 million. I'm going to put that
That's
up.
What, about 3.8 million or 3.9 million dollars?
No,
that's an unknown wallet. That's
it's worth
interesting.
4.4 million.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't do the math right, did I? Wow.
And they bought that XRP from the Japanese crypto exchange Bitbank, and they transferred it to an unknown wallet. So what did I say? Listen, we talked about this months ago that Japan, was going to implement XRP into all their systems starting this year, and this is just beginning. The
$6.7 trillion market. You have to estimate what that's going to mean in transactional fees collected by the Ripple network. And don't forget, right now, I think there's 9 or 10 pending Ripple ETF applications. And those are going to get approved. And I think you're going to see a lot. That's going to create a lot of market, new market participants, in my opinion. The ledger, is getting critical acclaim from lots of traditional banks and payment providers. And I think the demand for all the transfers, I think it's momentous, really. XRP is witnessing unprecedented adoption. We know there's 3,300 contracts that have never been released yet because of the SEC lawsuit. And I believe we're looking at the future of the SWIFT banking system right here in Ripple. I believe that's exactly what they're going to do. They're going to be doing all the cross-border payments. Don't underestimate it. And I heard something else. If you weren't here last week, I mentioned it last week. The SEC and Ripple allegedly are in dialogue that they may very well pay all or some of their fines in XRP tokens.
You know something funny?
I heard that if they get those tokens, those are going to go into the strategic reserve.
I was just going to talk about that because you made a good point. I can see where the right people will want that. They can pay in XRP and it'll go in our strategic reserve. But then I can see the corrupt people. No. They want hard money, U.S. cash paid, so they can what? Spend it, waste it, whatever they do with it. Because you know what? We always see when lawsuits are settled, Lance, and there's, talking about big money. Like, look at what Meta's been going through when they paid. Where does that money go? No one ever tells us where that money goes.
Nobody ever knows. Where does that money go, George?
No, we never know. Where does it go? Matter of fact, you know what, Lance? I'm gonna send a message to Doge and ask him, like, where does all this money go? When the SEC,
the fines. When
the FTC or FCC or any of the CCs,
you know what I think, George?
Letters.
I think I know where it goes. Oh, ho, ho, it's magic. Never believe it's not. Oh, where'd that go? Oh,
I know.
It's gone.
Oh, wait.
It's magic.
It probably goes to one of the
Maybe
magic.
Nancy Pelosi's getting it.
No. It probably goes to one of the magic money computers, and they just spend it.
Exactly. You got to put the magic fine fees into the magic money computer, and then you can just send it wherever you want. Never believe it's not so. It's magic. Yeah. I got to tell you that I'm suspicious like you are. And the magic money computers, I think they found 15 of them now, by the way, George. I don't understand why they're being so freaking stingy. Can the Crypto Power Hour get a magic money computer? We could use a little additional funding for Solum Global. How about a Crypto Power Hour magic money computer with some of that fine money?
How about if we get one of them? Not only Crypto Power Hour, I'll take care of the people in the chats, our mods and whoever's in the chat.
Let's get the chat names. We'll get a little chat throwdown. I bet you the show would gain a lot of popularity if we gave a couple $1 billion worth away on the show. What do you think?
I mean, why not? The government just does it all the time.
Might be able to get some extra subscribers like that.
$1 million to every subscriber.
That's it. Everybody that subscribes today, you get $1 million. You get $1 million. Wait, $1 million, forget it. You get 1 million XRP. You get 1 million XRP. You get 1 million XRP. Remember, we're paying with the fines if it's going to be paid in XRP. So I don't think there's anybody in our audience that wouldn't like to have 1 million XRP.
Yeah, so
all right.
Here's another big one. Circle receives Abu Dhabi in principal approval to operate as a money service provider.
That's big.
Stablecoins issuer from Circle was recently granted in principal approval from Abu Dhabi financial authorities to serve as money services, right? Provider in the region.
That's big because they met the regulatory requirements,
Yeah, Circle's moving on.
That's not easy in Abu Dhabi. That takes a lot. So we're talking about the Abu Dhabi global market. That's a financial free zone, and that's located in, of course, the UAE, United Arab Emirates.
And they don't like fraud.
It's got its own regulatory system there that require the crypto firms to gain pre-approval from the Financial Services Regulatory Authority before they can set up businesses and services in the region. So they can't even open up for business until they get that approval, which I think is great because it's really adding a high level of transparency that the companies that do get that approval are really kind of the top dogs in United Arab Emirates. And of course, their plan. They're trying to make crypto great, and they're in direct competition now that Donald Trump's in the seat. Yeah. So this is big.
And they take pride in, they don't want no crime, and they don't want no scams, no hackers. And if as you go into UAE and all those areas, you can put something on your phone on your car, walk away, and it'll be there. People don't steal over there.
Dude, that is the weirdest thing. I've seen that where people leave their wallet on the car and the keys to the car, and it's there when they come back.
So, look, I'm going to give you an example. Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
They have gold buyers out on the street. They sell jewelry. When they go time to pray, they leave the jewelry there. They come back, it's all there. Nobody steals. Nothing.
That's great. I love it.
Even in the UAE, and they're strict on who they allow in the country too, especially to be citizens. You can be, but it's strict because they don't want this crime. They don't want no riffraff. And they like certain places, your car has to be always washed. But they, you know what? But living, they make sure their citizens live, Lance. They make sure they have money and they're living. So they don't have to be like that. Because
well, the UAE, for you guys out there, of course, you guys know they're paving the way for all these responsible innovators in the crypto world. They want to build internet financial system that's really trustable with deep roots in market, embracing the on-chain economy. And I think they're creating these pathways and partnerships. I think it's really innovative. It's all about investment. It's all about doing everything in the region, like George just said, making sure the region is stable and it's honest and fair and transparent. And they're pumped up. They already made an announcement about working with Circle. They said, we look forward to working with Circle as they expand their operations and contribute to the advancement of digital finance in the UAE. And I think that's just big news. Stay tuned. But I want to tell you, I hope that the U.S. takes some call sign heads up from the UAE, and they start doing more of that here.
well, I don't know if you caught that, but Circle's head of global policy, Dante Disparte, what he said, he's talked about that crypto space needs more regulatory clarity to help bring more investors and institutional players into 100%. The space. Yeah.
Well, less than 5% of the people in Globe are participating, and I think it's a combination of education, transparency, honesty. You know, people hear about the bad events, and those are always end-to-end. And I think it's also they want ease of use. So this next story is big. It ties it in because MasterCard just announced end-to-end capabilities to support stablecoins, and I want to make a point. We heard about this last week because Kirk, the founder of Solana Global, actually showed us how you could pay for a transaction with Solana Global stablecoins. Really interesting. Now, they're working on a deal for massive amounts of liquidity, which could really change it. But that ensures payments could be made or received using any of them, anytime and anywhere. So I think when you start talking about MasterCard advancing the future of payments, stable coins are a big part of it. And you know, this just all happened because before they didn't want to hear those. In fact, it was hard to even use any kind of a credit card to buy crypto. But with payment capabilities now, I think we're going to see everybody get on board, whether it's PayPal, Visa, Discover, American Express. There's a lot of potential in this, and I can't imagine for the banks and fintechs, they're all engaging with these solutions on stable coins. Again, like I said, Solana Global is part of that, but this is a 360 degree. I mean, talk about a different environment, George.
It is, and you know, because you brought Kirk up.
Yeah.
He's been so busy traveling and working on Solana Global. Now we have the new payment system that's in the testing phase with insurance. But you know one thing I forgot to say to him, Lance? And I hope he watches, he's listening. Kirk, where's my card with so I can spend my coin? Yeah,
exactly. Can we get a coin with the link? Can you load it up with some of those stable coins? Maybe some of those gold stable coins? Look at these partnerships.
I got the stable coin. I just need a card.
Well, they're going to start issuing the cards. And look at this. The wallet enables card issuing acceptance. So MasterCard's partnership with all the crypto natives, they got to deal with MetaMask. Another one with Kraken, Gemini, Bybit, Crypto.com, Binance, Monavate, of course, and Bleep. They're all consumers to enter the crypto ecosystem to earn rewards. Of course, it's going to have the same benefits you do in your current cards. Pay and spend the stable coins in the crypto wallets via traditional cards. And they're going to be accepted at over 150 million merchant locations that accept the MasterCard globally, as well as the ability to withdraw stablecoins into their bank accounts with a new product called MasterCard Move.
You know,
now this is big.
It is, and I'm curious to know. I don't know if they came out with it yet, but when we use our card and for the digital coin through MasterCard, what's the fee? I mean, because you know, if you use a credit card, you go to any retailer, they're charging you. The retailer's charging the consumer 3% to use the card.
Yeah,
and then you have the fees that they're charging the business.
Yeah,
you're getting hit on both ends, and it's astronomical. So there shouldn't be those kind of fees when you go use this stable coin. We're going to find out because. Did you hear anything?
Connecting with OKX, which I think is big, and they're going to launch a card called the OKX card for the audience. And that's going to be providing millions of people with easy access to their funds. So this relationship, they're going to look into new opportunities. They want to help people have a meaningful way to engage with digital assets and connect with their passions. Of course, OKX's leadership, they are in crypto trading, and they've got, a growing Web3 ecosystem. Of course, they're trying to bring more and more people onto chain, which is big. Merchant settlement's going to be easier as acquirers and merchants increasingly explore and leverage these digital assets for settlement. MasterCard is teaming up with Nuvei and Circle, and they want to give the merchants the option to receive their payments in stablecoin. So they'll actually be able to, George, you could pay for a coffee, you could pay for a food item, and if the merchant has got it set up that they want to receive Bitcoin, they will that money will be used to purchase the Bitcoin, and they'll get their payment in Bitcoin. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, I want to go back to the stable coin because I said something and then I realized. So if a business has it set up where you can use your stable coin, right, and buy something, then you're eliminating the banks, really. You're eliminating even the payment processors because really it's going from your wallet. They should have it set where it's going to their wallet. And boom, you just erase all those fees, basically, most of them.
Basically, right.
So, I mean, this is a home run.
And for people that are worrying about, verification and transparency, they're adding another product called the MasterCard Crypto Credential, which this is going to help current users, getting rid of kind of cumbersome and essential verifications and transparencies. It's going to allow them to send and receive digital assets with a bunch of simple and trusted, names that are already out there, like Wyrix, Bit2Me, Lyrium, Notabean, Coins.ph, and of course, Mercado from Mexico. Bitcoin has already joined the MasterCard crypto credential ecosystem. So that's a huge help. And I think we're going to see that this is all going to power more efficient payments, a bunch of commerce applications I can think of. It's going to be streamlined settlement across markets and currencies around the world. It's going to lower fees, right? It's going to enable real-time payments and redemptions, so there won't be any, slow payments. So a bunch of partners like Ondo Finance can leverage their on-chain tokenized assets. Of course, don't forget JP Morgan Chase and Standard Chartered are connected to the MTN today. They're already on that network. So they're going to be able to connect all your deposits to new and emerging digital asset use cases. So I think what's going to happen here is this is going to benefit everything on the blockchain, all the digital assets. It's going to realize a bunch of potential that we're really not getting there. And it's all grounded in principles to approach, I think, innovation, George.
It is. And we just, what did we say in our education piece? As everything is evolving, things will get smoother, fast, it'll work better for us, better for the people. And here we go. This is a prime example. It's just prime, how much better you want when you eliminate all those credit card, those interest rates, all those fees. And soon, there'll be, watch what happens. There'll be new type of credit card if you need a credit card through crypto. Yeah. Actually based on your crypto.
For the audience, you have to realize that what George just said, and put it in simple terms, is it's rapidly becoming, I think, the future of everyday payments. You're not going to be going to Western Union. You're not going to be going and making international wires at your bank or domestic wires. You're going to have to figure out ways where you can actually transfer assets immediately at a very low cost, which, that'll be the key. You paying attention at what places are offering the lowest payments. For, at Kraken, they're focused on accelerating all those shifts. It's a great company. They're working very hard. They're collaborating with partners like MasterCard. And I think the key to unblocking all these crypto real world utilities at a global scale is a big deal. You're going to be able to do this all over the globe. And I think you're going to find a lot of people are going to take a chunk of their payments in crypto, whether it's Ethereum, Solana, Kraken, or maybe some of the stable coins. I know Solana Global's got a plan to get a big part of that. But I want to make sure we cover this. I know we're rocking and rolling. Hopefully you guys are staying up to speed with us and you're enjoying the show. If you are, thumbs up, comment, share, like, subscribe. George, I didn't mean to step on you.
No, that's all right because you want to talk about this and this is important because what do we always talk about? Security. Know your wallets. Know who you're dealing with. I mean, this is a vanishing 212 million Bitcoin order and it caused chaos for traders. Now, I don't know. Is it spoofing? Is spoofing back in crypto? I don't know. But
I don't know.
Despite the increased scrutiny, spoofing remains a challenge in crypto. And it's highlighting we always talk about is better security, maybe stricter regulations and better surveillance.
Yep.
But I'm going to give credit to Binance. So a large sell order for 2,500 Bitcoin on Binance was removed abruptly on April 14, causing market volatility and raising suspicious concerns of spoofing. What is spoofing? I'm glad you guys asked. It is an illegal trading tactic which involves placing and then canceling large orders to manipulate market prices.
Yeah, so
Interesting.
what they were hoping to do was to drive down the price of Bitcoin, right, by putting in a large sell order. Whole market goes, oh my God, there's some whales selling 2,500 Bitcoin, and of course, even with all the scrutiny, you have to think about it. So in the context of cryptocurrency, this is market manipulation, plain and simple. You got to think about it. A trader tries to, and this happened in regular stock markets. You can't underestimate. You've seen this before, even in those markets. They create this misleading impression of a buy or sell interest in order to influence the price of a current cryptocurrency. So let's say that Bitcoin was $10, and let's say somebody walks into the market and says, "Oh, I'm going to sell 1,000 of them." People get, oh my God, wait, why are they doing it? It's at $1. Maybe it's going to go to 90 cents. And of course, when you place these large orders, they're not intended to be filled ever. They're creating the false appearance of demand or supply. So the spoofers are trying to trick the average people in the market. They're hoping that other traders are going to take action based on that misleading information. And of course, that's going to lead to a price fluctuation. It benefits the spoofers, but it hurts the market. And of course, I think it hurts the growth of cryptocurrency, George.
So here's the thing. This is, I don't know, call me crazy. But if somebody puts in an order and okays that order, and, you go through the channels, it asks you, you want to approve this order? You want to continue? You have your little features. Once you hit yes, that's it. There should be no coming back where you can cancel it. So you could actually stop the spoofing in that sense. Why they don't do that, I don't know. It's like, look at trading, right? It's like somebody thinks they're going to get an insider trading tip or something, and it's just like total BS, but they're trying to do that to manipulate the stock. It's like the same thing. But this is like an order you're putting through to sell, but you're not doing it. I don't understand why they don't make the system where once you approve to sell your order, you go through those steps, the final steps. Are you sure? Whatever, yada yada. And you hit that yes, that's it. There should be no canceling it. Or you have a minute to cancel it, whatever, 2 minutes.
No doubt.
That's it. That will stop this right there. Why do they not do this? It's beyond me. This is
sometimes I wonder if they keep spoofing in place to benefit the big trading houses.
I don't know, Lance, but this is something we need to look into further and find out. I'm gonna look at it. When you're looking at things,
and I agree with you. If you're going to distort the market dynamics, and when this is to influence other traders to try to keep panic in the market, and you can see some of the hot spots it causes. You see that where it's overinflated. So they put in this sell order for the 2,500 Bitcoin. It was roughly worth $212 million. The Binance order book, it was at 85,600, around 2 to 3% above the spot price trading at the time. Of course, seeing that large order, the Bitcoin price started to gravitate this level at around 1,700 UTC. Suddenly, the order was gone, which you can see that it just disappeared. And of course, the Bitcoin price at that time was already on shaky ground due to all the geopolitical and tariff stuff. And of course, it went lower. So, they caused a bunch of chaos for the traders. And I think it's an illegal technique that involves, disrupting the markets. And they're doing it intentionally to deceive people. So these heat maps, this is a heat map for anybody that doesn't know what that is. And on the surface, that order price of 85 seemed like a key area of resistance, which is why the market prices started to gravitate towards it. But in reality, that order, and the liquidity were likely spoofed, giving the traders an illusion of a much stronger market. And this in this particular case, I think that trader seemed to have placed a possible spoof order. I don't see it as anything else but a spoof order, and I think it shows the systemic, vulnerability, of course. And the people over at ECB, the analysts over there agree. They said this is systemic vulnerability, especially in thin, unregulated markets. And of course, these tactics give sophisticated actors a consistent edge over retail traders. And of course, unlike TradeFi, where spoofing is explicitly illegal and monitored, crypto exists in a gray zone. So this is a serious threat. It definitely, George, I agree with you. We're going to have to really get on top of this.
Yeah, I'm going to look into more of this, why they don't stop that, or what's their reasoning behind it, because it could be easily done, I believe. So, you know what? If they're really about protecting people and what their assets, stop the spoofing. Stop the spoofing.
In the last couple minutes, I want to jump
Hold
into
on,
the Arizona cryptocurrency
I was getting
strategic
the-
reserve, baby. Let's do
I
it,
was getting the
George.
graph for us because it wasn't in my thing. So this
This is news. I mean, this is a wow moment.
Arizona,
Arizona becomes the first state to join the feds in planning a Bitcoin and cryptocurrency strategic reserve. The approvals by the Arizona lawmakers, they're joining 15 other states that are talking about it, but they seem to be first to pull the trigger. This is a party line voting to clear a bill through both chambers. It's working. Several states have advanced similar bills, but none have yet reached the finish line. Of course, it's approval of governor. But I want to say, George, who should we not trust with the seed phrase in Arizona?
definitely not the Arizona governor, Katie Hobbs, and somebody somebody in the treasury. Somebody had a problem too recently. But
Yeah,
I'm
no
actually, I was shocked that Arizona was a front runner that actually was the first state to do this.
Yeah, let's not have
so-
Wendy Rogers hold that crypto seed phrase
oh
either.
my God, that's another. She's a Republican, everybody. But
Yeah, I don't really-
she's suspect Republican.
Suspect.
So
But anyway, this is a big move. It's not just Bitcoin. They announced Bitcoin, but it's also approval for other cryptocurrencies, Ethereum, XRP, Solana. They've talked about all of them.
but you know what, Lance? Hold on. Even with the seed phrase, you're still gonna know. It all depends who has the seed phrases, but with the blockchain, you're gonna know you're gonna know right away if somebody took Bitcoin out of there. You're gonna see
No
the
doubt.
transaction. So then you can. It's not like something you would have to audit and wait for bank records and all that. You're gonna see this right away. That's the advantage of the blockchain right there, everybody.
No doubt, brother. No doubt.
Yeah, but
This is big stuff. We'll
I
keep an
still
eye on
wanna-
it. We'll let you.
Yeah, but I still
think
want
it's important.
I still want to trust Katie Hobbs with the seed phrase.
No doubt. And I think when it comes to these kind of projects, you got to stay on top of it. Stay tuned. We'll keep you guys posted. Other states are going to be jumping in. This is important news. Anything that has to do with strategic reserve, stockpiling particular coins is going to affect the markets, and it's going to add more stability to the market and hopefully more growth. Lots of people will hear it and they'll want to get involved. So this is the kind of stuff you want to share. Now, listen, if you like the show, don't forget to thumbs up, comment, share, subscribe. Hit the follow button. If you can do a paid subscription for $5 a month, please do. If you can't, we understand. It's not a big deal. In the meantime, let your friends and family know it's a great place to come. It's the #1 crypto show on Rumble.
Wait.
You really want to take our short form and long form. And if
#1?
you're any of the crypto, come over and join us. Follow us over on X. We've got the Crypto Power Hour on X. We've got Solum Global on X. Join those accounts. You can find myself, Lance Miliaccio, George Balloutine, your host. And of course, you've got our regular show on Rumble, which is the fastest growing show on Rumble, is the Big Mig show right now. So you can definitely check that out also. But all that matters. You can connect with us. We're communicating with you guys. You can make suggestions in our chat. Go into our DMs over there. Let us know. Email us if you like the show. But again, if you like the show, let Chris Pavlovsky, his private account over on X, let him know, hey, man, I love those guys at the Crypto Power. I love the Big Mig show guys. They're great. And we'd appreciate all the support you can give us. So, George, last words, brother.
We do appreciate that.
Oh,
What?
Wednesdays and Fridays, 3 p.m. Wednesdays and Fridays, 3 p.m. every Wednesday and Friday. Crypto Power Hour. Be here. All right, go.
Well, Lance said a lot, but you know what? You all have a blessed day. Thank you for listening. Thank you for supporting us. We truly appreciate you and everything you do. Because without you, there is no show, right? So you matter.
Yeah.
And we truly appreciate you. God bless.
We're blessed
Love
to
you
have
guys.
here.
And we will see you Friday.
Friday.